Here's the amount of interest that is building up for searches that are for Cardano on Google. As we know, we have seen the price of ADA, spiking over the course of the last, few weeks. We're seeing a lot of excitement coming in ADA. But that also reflects in terms of people that are going on Google and searching the word Cardano, and we're retesting levels that we haven't seen in terms of Google searches for ADA since December of last year, and that kind of sums everything up. We remember what happened late last year, a lot of excitement coming into the crypto space, which of course explains why we are seeing so many people excited about ADA, and of course the altcoin season aspect on top of that. But welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Appreciate you guys as always to the ADA family. Let's take a look at what's happening with the broader market today as of Saturday. So as of Saturday, we're in a weekend. On the weekends, more manipulation than usual due to the fact that CME futures are closed. But yet we're still seeing the market actually seeing a bounce, some double-digit gainers across the board. That's always a nice thing to see. ADA, on the other hand, seen a little bit of a minor pullback at about 2.2%. But before anyone comes out and says, whoa, ADA is going down, this and that, yada, 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 I will show you guys how good the price of Cardano is holding. Obviously, if you're looking at it on the weekly time frame, only a few coins that are up right now, Cardano being one of them, up 14.3%. So that is something I don't want you guys to neglect. But the price as of recording this update, 92 cents, down about 3% in both Bitcoin and USD. Comparative valuation, 33.5 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $2.6 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. I honestly think I said that 2 times, but it's very, very important to note that. Like, do your due diligence, guys. It's very, very important. But I wanted to kind of go over this article, and then, I want to also put this article into perspective in terms of, what this analyst is saying. And then we're going to look at the Cardano charts, and I'm going to share my personal thoughts with you guys as to what I think. So ADA price enters a bull flag breakout stage. Cardano latest price action has confirmed a bullish breakout from a multi-month bull flag pattern on a 3-day chart, according to analyst Clifton FX. The breakout follows a steady climb from the lower trend lines, with ADA price now pushing above key resistance. We know which key resistance we're talking about, and I still think we have yet to retest above that key resistance which we're talking about, and that is at that dollar price point. Technically, such breakouts often precede stronger upside continuation. So you can see this for yourself. Clifton FX current projections point to 100 to 150% massive bullish rally in the coming weeks. In other words, ADA price can grow towards the $1.60 and $1.75 range if the momentum holds. These levels were last seen during the early 2024 gains. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to put that into projections, and let's see if that kind of matches our overall take. But look at this. Long-term ADA holder hit record high as retail interest spikes. Long-term ADA holders hit a record high. So, as of Tuesday, 15 billion ADA remained unmoved for more than a year, hinting at reduced selling pressure in the so-called altcoin season. And also, one big key takeaway I want to tell you guys is a lot of people forget ADA is a proof of stake consensus. Maybe these 15 billion ADA are being staked. People are just comfortable with their ADA and just staking it for the long haul. And like I shared with you guys in the past, I know some people that have followed the channel from day one that have been staking their ADA since 2 cents. Yes, 2 cents, guys. So that's also one key takeaway that we don't really want to be neglecting, and they kind of go into the altcoin season, and of course the search that's happening for ADA on Google as well, which I've already discussed with you guys. But let's take a look at what's happening with the price. So as far as the dominance is concerned, it has pulled down compared to earlier this morning. BTC, on the other hand, you could see this for yourself. We came down to 116,800, but you can see we did push back up to the $117,000. I would love to see the price of Bitcoin closing its daily candle above 117,000. That would be amazing to see. But as far as ADA's price is concerned, let's give it a refresh live and really understand what we're looking at for ADA. So ADA, of course, got rejected at the dollar price point, but I want to put into perspective as to what Clifton's overall targets are: $1.65 to $1.80, I believe. So pretty much kind of going back to the 2024 levels. So let's take a look at the 2024 levels. We did not even reach that price point. So that article says something wrong. I think they meant to say 2022 levels, but in 2024 we didn't even reach those price points. But let's kind of take a look at where I could see the price of ADA breaking out to. So of course, after this dollar price point, I've shared this with you guys in the past. The sky is the limit, obviously, and what I mean by that is I'm not expecting ADA to go into the 23.6 and hit an all-time high. What I mean by that is, I think the 61.8 levels will be retested, and I've said this time and time out. So, you can't just expect straight move up to the $1.60. So he is personally projecting into the 0.50 fib zone, which is something I do see happening, but not right off the bat. No, that's not going to be the case. I personally think after breaking out, we're going to get into the 61.8, but the real fun begins here once you cross the $1.50. Once we cross the $1.50, that's where, I think things can really start heating up. And people think that, we're not going to reach an all-time high. But believe it or not, it takes just a few weeks for the price to go crazy. If we do see an ETF for ADA in the future, if we do see, incentives for American projects and, bigger partnerships, I'm not writing it off. I still do personally believe that ADA has what it takes to reach an all-time high. Still, we came very close to, the halfway mark at 0.50 just late last year. And, we were literally about a 129% away for us to reach an all-time high. And to be quite frank with you, 33.5 billion valuation right now in this day and age with trillions of dollars, coming into the crypto space. Potentially, obviously, right now it's not like that we're seeing trillion inflows every day, but billions, that should be the right number to be using. The projection, guys, for ADA, I am personally projecting ADA to reach all-time high this cycle and actually hitting a new all-time high. And I am still not writing that off. I know a lot of people think that might not happen, but I'm basing it off, realistically speaking, based off of some other projects that have seen, crazy price movements that no one expected, and ADA has been building. It's not that ADA is just steady. There's been massive upgrades, to the overall ADA network, and of course in terms of partnerships, that speaks for itself. In terms of institutional demand, those are all things that we need to keep in mind. But of course, there is going to come a time where the bear market is going to start. So this is where your exit strategy needs to come into play. While you're still seeing ADA consolidating within this range, and we have yet to reach the levels that we haven't seen since December of last year, what I want you guys to be doing is to stick with your exit strategy, develop an exit strategy, and stick with that. Obviously, if you're in it for the long haul and you don't care if the bear market kicks in, then that's your call, right? Then patience is your number one key to follow. But if you are in it for this cycle and you want to lock in profits, that's your main goal, then have an exit strategy in place. I cannot stress this enough. Love you all. See you later. I'm Crypto ZX, and peace out.